We also use these labs as, when we talk, this is more specific to the GCAN course, to help you prepare for your OSCE assessment. So the labs are, our OSCE training is 5 days per week, 8 hours per day for 4 weeks, and then you're more than welcome to use the labs for self-directed training after you've finished the course in order to prepare for your OSCE testing. That's a very, very important component. Now, Australia is using the NCLEX and the OSCE testing regime. Next slide, thanks, Owen. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the nursing registration pathway. Now, one thing I know about nurses is you will have all done your research already, and you'll know the nursing registration pathway very, very well. But let me just re-emphasize that to you. It's essentially 5 key steps, but let's focus on steps 2, 3, and 4 for today. Okay. Just a reminder that to be a registered nurse in Australia, to be eligible for registration in Australia, you must have 3 things in hand. Number 1 is you must have a current registration certificate from your nursing board in your home country or the country where you did your bachelor or your diploma of nursing. That's the first thing. Second thing is you must also then have you must be a bachelor qualified or a level 7 or above qualified nurse in order to be eligible for registration. At the end of your registration process, in step number 4, you'll then need IELTS 7 in all 4 bands in order to be eligible to finalize your registration. So they're the key must-have items: nursing registration and a bachelor level qualification. Now, if you're on this webinar and you are a diploma qualified nurse, so you've completed a 3-year diploma, don't despair, because you're able to then join the GCAN, the Graduate Certificate in Advanced Nursing course that I'll talk about shortly, which will then enable you to upgrade your qualification from a diploma to a level 8 postgraduate qualification, which means you will then be eligible for nursing registration in Australia. Step number 2 is where you lodge your nursing registration application, and the nursing board, you pay the nursing board $640. I believe that is going to be reduced shortly, but it's $640 now, and they will then assess your application, and that takes about 6 to 8 weeks, ideally, for them to assess your application. And they'll send you a letter to say, we'd like to invite you to now complete the nursing registration process, which is 2 tests. And that's where we move into step number 3. The first of the tests is what's called NCLEX, NCLEX, and it's a multiple choice question test. So this is a test of your knowledge. It's testing your nursing knowledge using a whole range of scenarios. So it's scenarios with multiple choice questions. The test must be done at a Pearson VUE testing center. Okay, so it's a Pearson VUE testing center. They're not available all around the world. They're certainly in Australia, the UK, Ireland, New Zealand, etc. If you're joining us today from Africa, there's one testing center in Africa which is located in Johannesburg. Okay, so when you're planning about the timing to complete your NCLEX test, if you're not studying with us in Australia, you will need to build that into your planning in your timetable. If you're in Kenya, for example, you'll need to go to Johannesburg to complete your test. If you're in India, if you're in southern India, if you're in Cochin, you'll need to go to Chennai, for example, to complete your test. Okay. 550 Australian dollars is the cost you pay to the nursing board or to Pearson VUE for that test. Okay. 6 to 8 weeks after you have completed that test, the nursing board will send you a letter to say, yes, you've passed the test. We'd like to invite you now to do the second phase of your testing, which is the OSCE test. Now, OSCE is an outcomes-based assessment of your nursing skills. Remember, NCLEX is about nursing knowledge. OSCE is about nursing skills. So this is a 1-day test that you must take in Australia. At the moment, it's only available at the Australian Simulation Centre in South Australia in Adelaide, which, by the way, is where Owen lives as well. So you come to Adelaide for 1 day, 10 simulation stations. Each station's about a 20-minute scenario that you then demonstrate your nursing skill to an assessor. 10 stations, you must pass 7 of the 10 stations in order to then finalize your nursing registration. Okay. The cost of that test is 4,000 Australian dollars. So when you're planning your registration and all of the costs that involve, please make sure you allow an additional $4,000 for the OSCE test and $550 for the NCLEX test, in addition to any course fees and other thing, any visa lodgement fees or any course fees. All right. So just make sure you make an allowance for that additional $4,500. About 6 to 8 weeks later, after you've passed your OSCE test, the nursing board will will ask you to finalize your registration by submitting your English language certification. Now, there's three ways you can meet the standard. Number one is IELTS 7 in all four bands of English. Okay, OETB in all four bands, or PTE 65. Okay, and again, I think that's PTE Academic, Owen, if I recall, in all four areas as well. Okay, so that's the last document that you upload to finalize your registration. After you've done that, 6 weeks later, the nursing board will send you your registration certificate. So as you can see, by the time you add all of those components together, it's about a 6 to 9 month process in order to go from lodging your application through to finalizing your nursing registration. Okay. Remembering that your OSCE test must be done in Australia. Your NCLEX test can be done online, but if you're studying with us in Australia, you would be doing it at a Pearson VUE Testing Centre in Australia as well. Next slide. Thanks, Owen. Okay, now the program we're here to talk to you today about is the Graduate Certificate in Advanced Nursing, specifically designed as a registration pathway, and we've called it Australian Nursing Practice. Now, this is an on-campus course, which is available over 26 weeks, so that's 6 months, and you would be studying with us in Melbourne, Sydney, or Perth on a student visa. Okay, so you would have a 6 to 8 month student visa. And the benefits of a student visa, I'm sure the guys will talk a little bit later, but they are that you have work rights, and it also means that you are as a student, you obviously then have a number of other protections, etc., whilst you're in Australia with us. Okay, there are 6 intakes per year, so you never have to wait too long to join the next intake. Okay, this program is designed specifically for overseas trained registered nurses who are looking to come and finalize their registration in Australia. All right, because the course includes not just a graduate certificate or the graduate certificate in advanced nursing. The fees also include the NCLEX and the OSCE preparation programs. Okay, so both of those courses are included in the fees of 12,000 Australian dollars. So if you're a diploma qualified nurse, this program will allow you to then upgrade your qualification from your 3-year diploma to a level 8 postgraduate qualification in Australia, which then meets the nursing board's requirement for a bachelor level as a minimum. Okay, so you jump over the bachelor essentially. Okay, it also allows you to then study for that's for diploma nurses. For bachelor qualified nurses, this program for both of you will help you greatly in preparing for your OSCE test, not only because you'll spend time in the labs, but also because you will be learning about Australian nursing standards and Australian nursing practice. And that is a big component of what's being assessed when you go to do your OSCE test and when you're doing your NCLEX test as well. Okay. English language requirements. IELTS 6.5, no less than 6 in any one band, PTE 56, or no less than 46, or OETB. Now, if you are from a country, and there's 31 countries in the world that are designated as English-speaking countries. They include countries like Kenya, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, South Africa, etc., etc. If you are from one of those countries, we waive off the English requirement because you will have studied your secondary school and probably your bachelor or your diploma in English. If you are not from one of those countries, so you may be from the Philippines, for example, where a lot of your education is in English, please talk to our consultants and talk to the MWT team, because there are a number of other English waiver conditions, ways that we can waive off the English based on the fact that you have studied your secondary and or your tertiary education in English. Okay. Minimum requirements: Bachelor of Nursing, 3 months work experience, or 3 years experience for a Diploma of Nursing holder. Now, just quickly before we move on, Owen, diploma nurses always say, why do we have to have 3 years working experience? And this is for this reason. A bachelor course is different to a diploma course. Okay. The 3 years that you spend working after you graduate with your diploma, in our view, is sufficient to improve your nursing skill to reach bachelor level. You've maintained your registration through CPD, and we believe that has brought the two together, bridged the gap between the two, and we're very happy to offer you entry in. I think you'll find, and Owen could correct me if I'm wrong, I think you'll find IHM is the only college in Australia that will provide a master's or a postgraduate pathway for diploma qualified registered nurses. Okay, so this is quite a unique opportunity as well. Thanks, Owen. Let's move on. We also offer this same program, the Graduate Certificate in Advanced Australian Nursing Practice, in what we call a hybrid model, which means you can study online, study the theory components online, and then join us in Australia to then complete your OSCE preparation and your OSCE testing. Okay, so let's break this down. Let's break this course into some pieces. Okay. There are 3 units of theory that are involved in the GCAN ANP program. Okay, 3 units of theory that you study first online from your home country. Okay, and that's the top line that Owen is showing you there, the origin line. So you study those units, those units in theory. You also study a 3-month preparation course run by us to prepare you for your NCLEX test. Okay, so you're doing your theory online, you're doing your NCLEX preparation online in your home country. So there's no need to stop work, there's no need to leave home. You're simply continuing, you're enrolled in online courses with IHM. Once you've completed your preparation course, you then lodge your registration application, and you probably have done this already, and you've got a date from an invitation from the nursing board to go and do your NCLEX test. And that's where you move to the second line, where Owen is now, is that you go to the testing centre in your home country and you do your NCLEX exam, which generally takes 4 to 5 hours to do as a rule. Okay. Once so remember, you're still at home, you're still living and working at home, earning money, living at home. You haven't had to pay the travel costs and the expenses of getting to Australia. Once you obtain your letter, and you remember from AHPRA, which I said is 6 to 8 weeks normally, to say you've passed your NCLEX test, then you have a date at which you're able to then book your date for your OSCE test, and that's the third arrow down that Owen's showing now. So you go online and you book your date. It could be 6 weeks in advance, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months in advance. At that point, you then travel to Australia. Once you know your testing date, you travel to Australia 90 days before that date on a visitor visa. You do your 4 weeks of OSCE prep, 4 to 8 weeks of OSCE preparation. You then go and do your OSCE test. Okay. Once you've completed your OSCE test, you've then got some time left in Australia in order to provide your language certificate, finalize your registration application, right? And then you are all equipped. You're just waiting for your registration certificate. Okay. So that's the hybrid version. Now we call it hybrid because it's a mix of online and then on campus or face-to-face studies in Australia. So at the end of this point is where you then you've got some decisions, some opportunities and some decisions to make, because it's unlikely that the nursing board will finalize your registration, that is, send you your certificate, before the end of your 90-day visitor visa. Okay, so you then have a couple of options. you may want to talk to Owen and his colleagues about pathways to employment. And they have a number of employers that we work with that they work with, in Australia, with hospital groups and hospitals and care providers, etc., who are they've been engaged with to look for employment for registered nurses. Okay, so there's a couple of, you may look at that and say to Owen and the team, please let's talk about employment opportunities and what the next step is. You may also decide that you want to take your graduate certificate, which is the first semester of your Master of Nursing, and you may want to enroll in a Master of Nursing. Now, the Master of Nursing overall is a 2-year course, but you will have already completed the first 6 months because you've already done your GCAN program. So you then go on and finish the next 3 semesters of your Master of Nursing. The benefit of that is that you're then eligible at the end of that course for a 5-year post-study work visa. That's 5 years, okay? So that means you're then able to live and work in Australia. If you have a partner, your spouse, your family, they're able to join you in Australia, and your partner's able to work full-time, whilst your children then go to public school in Australia, go to school in Australia. So that's the second option that you have. The third option you have is that you could return to your home country, and you could then go and look, you could then work with Owen and the team around employment opportunities, or you could then start to look at your permanent residency options if you have sufficient experience in your home country. So you've kind of got 3 choices, 3 options. One is, whilst you're in Australia, is to be starting or progressing into an employment pathway, okay, with employers. Now, remember, employers, and Owen will talk about this shortly, employers are interested in nurses who are registered in Australia. So you need to finalise that process, and that will take you into there. You might want a second choice, you might want to look at education. So then we can take you into our Master of Nursing program. At the end of that program, 5-year post-study work visa. Or the third option, return to your home country and then work with Owen and the team on employment and also permanent residency options. Thanks, Owen. Next slide. I'll just talk very briefly about this because these programs are another avenue for your preparation for registration, okay? So these programs work best if you are a diploma qualified registered nurse, okay? So that's a 3-year diploma. So that may be from India, maybe from Kenya, maybe from Nigeria. A whole range of countries teach a 3-year diploma, okay? These are online specialization in nursing programs. So everything from critical care, neonatal, right down to renal and diabetes specialist. 6-month online course, $8,000 in fees. We have intakes every couple of months, and the entry requirements are the same as for the GCAN and the Masters program. IELTS 6, if you are in an English-speaking country, we can waive off the English. Okay, you would look at this. You would look at studying online for a specialization. If you were then coming to Australia to then you were doing NCLEX online with us offshore before coming to Australia to do just the OSCE preparation before you go and do your test. So IHM is a specialist in registration pathways and education for registration onto employment. So whether you're doing an online course that is then followed by your NCLEX preparation and then your OSCE preparation before you do your test, we can put together the pieces of that puzzle in order to provide the best option for you. Okay. Some people want to come to Australia work and study in Australia on an 8-month student visa, work part-time, gain some Australian work experience. Others don't want to leave their home country. They want to do the education offshore and then come and just do the registration test preparation in Australia. This would be that option: graduate certificate in specialization offshore, OSCE onshore. Okay. So again, and it really often, when I think what I hear is it comes down to resources, and it also comes down to family situation. You might have a job, you might have a family, you don't want to uproot them and bring them to Australia. So this might be another registration pathway for nurses as well. Okay, you can see there the same English language requirements we talked about earlier, and also the same entry requirements for your experience, your depending on your qualification, bachelor versus diploma. Thanks, Owen. Next slide. I talked earlier about the Master of Nursing program. Key points around that. That is a very great option for GCAN for a student who may have done a GCAN. You want to continue into studies, but you're not ready to do. You're not quite able to do that when you start your GCAN. You can enroll into this program anytime you are in Australia, so that at the end of your GCAN student visa, you simply transition onto a Master of Nursing student visa. Okay, 2-year program, 1.5 years as Owen's showing there, packaged with GCAN. Master of Nursing has 3 intakes per year: March, July, November. Okay, and they work together with the GCAN courses, so the finish dates coincide with the starting dates. Okay, the fees, if you were packaging it with the GCAN, would be $27,000 because you're doing 3 semesters, not 4 semesters. Okay, English language equivalency the same, and your entry requirements are the same as well. Okay, so all of those kind of fit together quite nicely. Next slide, thanks, Owen. And last but certainly not least, we talked earlier about NCLEX. We run a 12-week online preparation course. So remember, NCLEX is an online test. So there's no point sitting in a classroom writing down on paper the answers to NCLEX. You need to do it online, study online to learn how the test works online. Okay, 12-week program. The cost of that program is $2,000 for the NCLEX course. Okay, live discussion groups, theory classes. It's a very interactive program. It's taught by nurses who have passed the NCLEX test already, so they know what needs to be done to prepare. OSCE preparation on campus in Australia, anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks to 6 weeks, depending on your need. Okay, you may be a nurse who thinks they will need 6 weeks of preparation training in order to be able to prepare properly for the OSCE test. We generally recommend 4 weeks. At the moment, our success rate in 2023 is 100% for 29 of our students who have gone to the NCLEX OSCE test, the OSCE test. Okay. We've just had another 10 who went last week for their OSCE test, so we'll know the results in about 4 to 6 weeks. I hope they all passed. They're all pretty confident, and then we can keep our 100% pass rate. The cost for the OSCE preparation is $1,000 per week. So 2 weeks, $2,000, 4 weeks, $4,000, etc. Okay. Simulation labs, hospital level simulation labs. We invest a lot of effort and time in our simulation labs, and you will be then doing simulation and scenarios continuously for the time that you're with us. Thanks, Owen.
Yeah, thank you, Simon, for the insightful presentation about IHM GCAN program and Master of Nursing and OBA training program. I believe all of you guys right now have the understanding about what is this program, and I'd like to share some advantages for these programs, and for our service as well. So basically, we provide you the one-stop service, including the course and visa application and migration job placement. We're gonna cover this topic later by my team members, and also we have the registered migration agent and education counselors in our team, so we can provide you a good, qualified, and reliable service for you. And we are specialized, as I mentioned before, we are specialized in the nursing education and nursing job placement as well. Yeah. And regarding the IHM program, actually it's a affordable tuition fees. It's an affordable program. If you compare with other public university Bachelor of Nursing or some Master of Nursing leading to the registration, compared to that, IHM, GCAN program, or even Master of Nursing are affordable for you. And this is a unique program. Definitely, it's a unique program for the OBA training plus Master of Nursing together. Yeah, and if you enroll the Master of Nursing or GCAN itself, IHM provides you the free OBA training. You don't need to pay the NCLEX training fees and the OSCE training fees. That's free for you if you enroll the GCAN or the Master of Nursing. Yeah, and more importantly, from the admission requirements, because if you compare with other university nursing course like Bachelor of Nursing or Master of Nursing, they all require you to submit IELTS 7 each band or equivalent like the PT 65 each band or OET B each band at the beginning as a mandatory admission requirement. But for this program, as introduced by Mr. Simon, so we only require you at the final stage when you submit your nursing registration. We need you to prepare your IELTS 7 each band or PT 65 each band. At the beginning, you will have many flexible requirements. So the normal requirement is 6.5. IELTS 6.5 is no band less than 6. But if you're from some English speaking countries, we might give you the English requirement exemption. Yeah. So if you're not sure about that, don't worry about that. So you can contact us and we can check your situation background, give you the best idea. And as Mr. Simon introduced for IHM, they already have the thousands of international qualified nurses to finalize the nursing registration in Australia. They are very experienced on that. Yeah. So now I would like to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Anuransh, to talk about the job placement service for you, because I believe all of you guys right in today's webinar are the registered or you are experienced AIN. So we do have the job placement for you, service for you. Yeah. Hello, Anuransh.
Yes, hi, Owen. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Can you please switch on my video, please? Thanks.
It's a very handsome photo in the meantime, Anuransh.
Thanks, Ivan. For some reason, I'm video from my side. So yeah,
just Owen will just make you a co-presenter and then you'll be right.
Okay.
There you go.
Thanks.
Ripper.
Thank you. So okay. Thank you, Simon. So I hope everyone can see my screen, also myself. So yeah. Thank you. So
yeah. Sorry to interrupt, mate. Could you maybe optimize that screen to presentation mode? That'd be great.
Sure.
Let's see how that goes. Fantastic.
Thank you. So yep. So thank you, Simon, and also Owen. So I believe both of you have given a very wonderful presentation about the course and also about the services we offer. So myself, I'm Anuransh Shankaran. I'm the general manager for MWT Australia. So I'd like to talk a bit about the services we offer, including the international student recruitment services and the other support services we do, including job placements and visa services. So for MWT Australia, like we have three main services. One is the job placement services, and we also do visa and migration services and international student recruitment as well. And going in detail about the job placement services, which is of definitely of interest to all of you. So once you arrive here on a student visa for a GKN AMP program, so how can we help you? So one important aspect for you is that we all understand that like it's important for you to get some industry exposure, especially in Australia. So that's one area where we can actually help you. So when you arrive here on a student visa for a GKN AMP program, you will be the initial first 8 to 10 weeks you'll be attending on campus sessions. So at that point in time, like most of the time you'll be spending on campus and attending lab sessions and those key preparatory sessions. And simultaneously, we can help you to attend interviews with different employers. So MWT Australia works very closely with aged care facilities and hospitals and also disability support service providers. across Australia, across all states of Australia. And we've got partnerships. So basically, we can place you with these employers as assistant in nursing while you're working towards getting your registration. So we've got different pathways for that. So two main pathways is the GCAN-ANP pathway, which is what you'll be getting into. So once you arrive here on a student visa, on a 7 to 8 months visa to do your GCAN-ANP program, we will organize interviews for you with our client organizations, and once you're successful, you can start working for them as assistant in nursing while you're on student visa. And some of these employers can even help you with accommodation and relocation assistance as well. So this depends on based on the employer, and so during for the duration of this course, you can start working for them as AANs, which will help you to gain more understanding about Australian healthcare setting, working in a hospital or aged care facility, and what are the activities which are happening there, and which can also be helpful for you for clearing your OSCE examination. So that's one thing. And then what happens like after this eight month when you've completed your GCAN-ANP program? So if you're already placed with these employers, basically these employers wants candidates who can be converted to APRA registered RNs in the near future. So they employ you as AAN so that on a later stage you can be recruited as RNs within that particular organization. So that's the GCAN-ANP pathway. And for extending your visa, there are different options. As Simon mentioned earlier, like you can either go for a Masters of Nursing program, which can give you an additional 5 years of stayback option, or you can always consider subclass 407, which is a traineeship pathway, which can give you up to 2 years of visa, where you'll be working as a registered nurse trainee. And simultaneously you can work as an AAN with the employer. So maybe I'll just go in detail about these different pathways. So while you're on a student visa, so you can work minimum 24 hours per week as a carer if you get selected with one of the facilities, and then simultaneously be preparing for NCLEX and NCLEX exam and also for the OSCE examinations, and you'll also be working towards meeting the English language requirements for getting the APRA registration. So when you get this opportunity, these employers will actually support you and train you so that like when you start with them as an RN on a later stage, when you get your registration, the transition will be a lot more easier for you. So that kind of support and guidance will be given by the employer. Also, there will be a training plan as well. Like if you go switch on to a 407 visa on a later stage, there will be a proper training plan which can be extended for a period of almost 2 years, and which will equip you with necessary skills which is required to work as an RN in Australia. So this is just a process flow of how things can work for you. So you join as an RN. We can share this information with you on a later stage once we've completed this session. So you can see like which organization will carry out which responsibility, and after getting your subclass 5 with student visa, you will be able to attend all the interviews, and if you're successful, then you get placed as AANs with that particular hospital or residential aged care or NDIS provider as nursing assistant, and you continue to work towards completing your GCAN-ANP program. Simultaneously, you'll also be working to clear an NCLEX and OSCE examination and to get the APRA registration. And once you've got your registration, you can either be offered as an RN role with the same facility which you're working with, or you can also go for gender skill migration visa categories, which later on, like Dong will be explaining more about the different visa options. But there are plenty of options which we can provide you with in terms of getting a job as carers or as RNs on a later stage, and also the different visa options we can suggest for you. So international student recruitment part is managed by Owen and his team, and we've got Mr. Dong here. Dong is a senior registered migration who's been working in this industry for many years now. So we've got an expert team of registered migration agents who can actually help you to resolve all of your visa related queries and also to support you through that process. So this again is a bit more detailed information about the Subclass 407 traineeship option, which you won't be going straight away on this, but once you've completed your GCAN ENP program, if you're looking for an option to extend your visa or extend your stay in Australia, 407 traineeship option is one option for you, which you can consider to extend your stay and also to continue working as AN. Or that will also help you to buy more time to get your APRA registration. So the visa, the minimum English language requirements and the other criteria for getting this 407 visa is lower. But however, for the employers, they might be looking for candidates who are either bachelor qualified or bachelor or higher qualified overseas registered nurses with minimum 1 to 2 years experience and with an equivalent English language score of around 6 or above IELTS or equivalent PTE or OET scores. So this again is the pathway for the 407 traineeship. You can have a detailed look at it later on when we share this information. So once you're here, once the enrollment is completed, your classes has commenced, when you're ready to attend all the interviews, you can always contact us and express your interest to be considered for this AAN roles with our partnering facilities, and we can arrange the interviews for you. I think that's all I need to talk about these different options. I think next, Dong, I'll request Dong to give a bit more information about different visa categories, which he'll be going more in detail. Thank you.